up everyone, hope we're all doing well. In today's video we're going to be talking about who has the best chance of dethroning the current champion in every single weight division. And before we get started, this doesn't mean that I think that the person is going to beat the champion. I just think they have the best chance out of everyone in that division to dethrone the champion. So to start things off, we have the flyweight division, which is obviously Alexander Pantoja. And who do I think has the best chances of beating him? Steve Erceg. Now I wanted to say maybe Manel Kape, but at the end of the day I feel like he's gave the toughest test to Pantoja so far. You still got Brandon Moreno, right, who gave him a tough fight in the trilogy when he lost, but I think Erceg, he arguably won the first fight. He was doing good when it came to the grappling. His striking was really good with the counters as well. He's got that dog in him, so I feel like Erceg, if he gets a bit more experience, gets a bit more momentum, I don't think he's going to beat Moreno, but say if he can get some momentum because he is still quite young, I think he has the best possible chance of dethroning Alexander Pantoja. I wanted to say Manel Kape, but with Manel Kape, I don't know if he's got that dog in him like Steve Erceg does. Manel Kape, he likes to fight at his own pace, and Pantoja is really good at dictating the pace, and I feel like that would throw off Manel Kape, and I'm pretty sure he won on the feet against Manel Kape a few years ago now, so I've gone with Steve Erceg as the hardest matchup for Pantoja in the flyweight division. Next up, we have the bantamweight division, and the champion is obviously Merab Dvalishvili. And who do I think will be the hardest matchup for him? It goes the exact same as the flyweight division. It's going to be another rematch. It will be Umar Nurmagomedov. I think Umar has the best style to take on Merab, and in that first fight it was really close. It was a clear 48-47 in Merab's favour, but I think in a few years time, after Umar's got some more experience with a top end opposition, remember going into that title fight everyone was slating him for not beating anyone other than Corey Sandhagen in the ranked. I think if he gets a few ranked wins, you know, get a bit more experience, get used to fighting these other styles, get a bit of momentum again, I think he can be straight back in that title picture, and I think he has the best chances of dethroning Merab. I thought he was going to beat Merab anyway in the first fight. It was a very good fight, and I think in a rematch he will beat Merab, but he is very young as well. I think he's not even 30 yet, so he's got plenty of time to do so. By the way, I know Petr Yan's my favourite fighter, and I could be very delusional, say it'll be Petr Yan, but I can't make any arguments considering how the first fight went, so I didn't even bother. Now we move on up to the featherweight division, and we got two people right there because at the moment both Alexander Volkanovski is scheduled to take on Diego Lopez. So I've gave the hardest matchup for both guys because we don't know who wins yet. So for Volkanovski, I've gone with Arnold Allen. Now that might sound crazy, but I genuinely believe Arnold Allen may be the best or the biggest threat towards Alexander Volkanovski, given that Volkanovski's durability is a bit in the tatters now. Not only that, but Arnold Allen can grapple, got good defensive grappling, good offensive grappling, and he's very unorthodox and good striking, so I think he possesses a big threat for Volkanovski. I was going to say Movsar, but Movsar, I feel like Volk would suss him out very easily. After the first two rounds, I don't feel like Movsar would have much to offer, whereas Arnold Allen, he's got that dog in him. He had a lot of success against Max Holloway. I feel like he could maybe knock out Volkanovski, given that Volkanovski's durability is no longer the same. A prime Volkanovski, I wouldn't be saying this, but now how Volkanovski is, now that he's a bit older, I feel like Arnold Allen has the best chance of beating him. Now we move on to Diego Lopez in case he wins. Movsar Evelev, we've seen it in the first fight, and not only that, I just think like Diego Lopez will struggle with someone who's a lot more well-rounded like he did in the first fight. I was going to say Aljo, but he doesn't offer as much on the feet. Movsar is better on the feet, and when it comes to the grappling, Movsar did have success against Diego Lopez, so I've gone with Movsar to be the biggest threat against Diego Lopez, and I actually think that he would defeat Diego Lopez in a rematch. And before we carry on, maybe consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel if you enjoy this sort of content. We're trying to hit 1k subs by the end of 2025, and I would appreciate it greatly. Now let's get straight back into the video. And now we have the lightweight division, which is currently being held by Islam Makhachev, and I think that Ilia Topuria has the best chance of beating Islam Makhachev. I feel like Arman Tsarukyan has a good chance, but I just feel like he's a B-Tech version of Islam Makhachev. Like, he's pretty much got a similar skill set to Islam Makhachev, just not not as good. Whereas Ilia Topuria, very good hands, very powerful, mix it to the head and body, very good combinations, very fast, good reaction times. When it comes to his grappling, that is the main concern here, but I think he can do enough in order to stop Islam Makhachev from dominating him on the ground. I actually think Ilia Topuria will be able to find the chin of Islam Makhachev and knock him out. I think it'll be a great fight. I know there's a lot of people who want to see that fight, including myself. I need to see it, and there's a lot of people who don't want to see it because they don't feel like Ilia Topuria has really justified getting that title shot. But I feel like regardless of all that, he does possess the best skill set and is the biggest threat towards Islam Makhachev because he also has a lot of confidence. I don't think that'll, Islam Makhachev also has a lot of confidence, but I just think the skill set of Ilia Topuria will cause a lot of problems for Islam Makhachev as he is very well rounded. And yeah, I can't wait. We need to see that fight. And now we're going to move on up to the welterweight division. I'm not going to lie, this is a hard one for me because I feel like there's a few styles and tough matchups for Belal Muhammad in that welterweight division, and it's actually made welterweight division really, really exciting. So starting off, the big one that everyone keeps talking about, Shavkat. I think Shavkat can cause some problems, but overall, I think he loses to Belal. Shavkat has that dog in him, but we haven't seen him go at someone else's pace. Belal's really good at setting the pace and taking over that center and pushing you back the entire time. We haven't really seen Shavkat on the back foot, and I'm very interested to see that. And not only that, his defensive grappling being put into use for 5 rounds as well. But we know Belal can go at a stupid pace for 5 rounds and just get that dog out of him. And also on his feet, he's quite good with his hands. I hate to admit it, but he is. With Shavkat, he was getting pieced up a lot against Jeff Neal. No shame in that, by the way. But I don't know. I just feel like he has a good chance, but I don't think he has the best chance compared to other fighters. Now we move on to Kamaru Usman. I think Kamaru Usman has a great style and is a great test for Belal Muhammad. The only thing for Kamaru Usman, he needs to actually fucking fight someone because he's on a 3-fight losing skid. But regardless of that, the actual style itself, I think Kamaru Usman possesses a lot of threat towards Belal Muhammad. He's got really good striking, well, good boxing, should I say. He can go at a crazy pace. He's got that wrestling credentials and can go into that bag if he needs to. He's got that dog in him. The only bad thing about Kamaru Usman is durability. We don't know what that is like now that he's getting older with his legs and he's been knocked out. We don't know what it's like. He's taking a bit of damage. We also saw Hamzat dominate him on the ground. Then again, he had to spunk out his entire gas tank in order to dominate him in that first round. But I still believe that Kamaru Usman possesses a good threat towards Belal Muhammad, and I actually feel like we could get a good war out of these two. He has a lot of potential to defeat Belal Muhammad, but I also think that my number one pick for this one, Joaquin Buckley. I'm going to be completely honest. At first, I didn't really see it, but now I do. He's super explosive. His takedown defense against Colby looked really good. His cardio's been looking really good. He oozes a lot of confidence. He's very well rounded. He's a big guy. I think he could pack a punch and knock out Belal potentially. I think it could be a hard fight for Belal. I don't think Belal's going to constantly push him back either. I think he's got that dog in him as well, Joaquin Buckley. I think he might have the best threat of beating Belal Muhammad. Again, he packs a good punch, so I feel like Belal would be somewhat hesitant compared to other guys in that welterweight division. Yes, Usman can crack, but I don't know if he can crack as much as Joaquin Buckley. So I think Joaquin Buckley has the best possibility of beating Belal Muhammad. Obviously, Belal's taking on JDM, and I actually think JDM has a good chance as well because he's got that dog in him. He won't quit. He's got good hands, but ultimately, from what I saw in the Gilbert Burns fight, I think his takedown defense is going to let him down in the fight, unfortunately. So I think Joaquin Buckley has the best chance of defeating Belal Muhammad. Next up, we have the middleweight champion, Dricus du Plessis, and obviously everyone wants to see him fight Hamzat Chimaev. Now, I actually think Hamzat Chimaev is the hardest one, but that's only for 1 round. After that first round is done, if Hamzat hasn't got Dricus out of there, I think it's all downhill, and I'll bet a ton of money on Dricus to defeat Hamzat if he makes it past the first round. I don't think Hamzat will beat Dricus if Dricus is able to survive that first round. I really don't. If Dricus is able to survive that first round, fair enough. I think he's done for. But can Dricus survive that first round? I'm not exactly sure. This is why it's such an interesting fight, but I'm going to give another person, Caio Borralho. I think he has a decent chance. I'll be completely honest. There's a few names. You got Imavov, but I think Dricus will beat Imavov. He's dealt with Strickland, dealt with Adesanya. Anthony Hernandez, I feel like Dricus will be able to hurt him and put him out. Baralho, I think, is really well-rounded, got great grappling, got very good striking, but he keeps on improving on and is working with the fighting nerds for it. He's got a good fight IQ, he's got that dog in him, he can push a pace, he can do 5 rounds, he's got good cardio, and he might have a touch of autism, you know what I mean? Yeah, again, he is training with the fighting nerds, and they don't all see him there, barking at the camera lenses and stuff, and wearing those glasses. So I think Caio Borralho has a great chance of taking on Dricus du Plessis. I'm not saying that he would beat him, but I do think he has a good skill set in order to defeat him. Next up, we have the light heavyweight division, and obviously Alex Pereira will be taking on Magomed Ankalaev this Saturday. So for right now, yeah, Ankalaev is that guy, and we're going to see it unfold in a couple of days. So let's give maybe an option for 2 like we did for the featherweight division. So for Alex Pereira, I'm going with Jan Blachowicz. The first fight was super close. Jan Blachowicz arguably won that fight. And not only that, I just feel like Jan Blachowicz, yes, he's getting older, but you get away with being older in the higher weight categories because, you know, you don't lose a step as much. You rely more on power than you do speed, stuff like that. I think Jan Blachowicz can still be a problem for Alex Pereira, and I actually think Alex Pereira will beat him in a rematch, but I just think Jan Blachowicz being that well-rounded, game as fuck, you know, this being his last title run really, I think he could really give a lot of problems for Pereira like he did in the first fight. For Ankalaev, I don't know, because he went to a draw with Jan Blachowicz, so I feel like saying Jan Blachowicz again. You know what, fuck it, Jan Blachowicz again, because Jan Blachowicz is still really well-rounded. Could Ankalaev beat Yuri? Oh man, actually maybe Yuri for Ankalaev. That'll be a fun one to see. I'm not sure what I'm going to go with there. I'll go with Yuri just to spice it up a bit more, because Yuri, we haven't really seen, his grappling sucked a bit against Glover, but he was still a threat for the entire time, and I feel like he could be a bit, he's always a big threat on the feet. He's so unorthodox, packs a massive punch, and his durability is absolutely stupid. So I think Yuri for Ankalaev and Jan Blachowicz for Alex Pereira. And finally, the heavyweight division, and we're going to have to do 2 again. And for the John Jones, it's Tom Aspinall. The fight isn't actually made, so I'm going to say Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall's the hardest fight for John Jones. Don't even need to explain it that much. We all know why. That's why we all want to see the fucking fight. But who's the toughest fight for Tom Aspinall? I've been saying this for a while now. Jailton Almeida. Everyone keeps saying, well, nah, Almeida gets smashed by Aspinall. And that could very well be the case. But have we ever seen Tom Aspinall's defensive grappling being put into use? I don't believe that we have, and that's no fault of his own because no one can really last that long with him. But everyone talks about, oh, well, he has got grappling, but yes, we haven't seen his defensive grappling tested out. And Jailton Almeida is a very heavy grappler, and he can have a lot of success with his offensive grappling and, you know, holding the Aspinall down, potentially for 5 rounds. I'd like to see that fight. I really want to see it. I used to say Cyril Gane for Aspinall, but with the whole factor of grappling, I feel like Jailton Almeida is that guy to be a hard nightmare for Tom Aspinall. And that is it, guys. Those are the people who I think would possess the toughest threat for the champion in every single weight division. If you agree with some of my picks, let me know in the comments, and if you disagree, let me know who you think would dethrone certain champions in certain weight categories. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.